Hi guys, it's Chessa with Checker. Welcome to our What's New Live. Just like you, quilt shops from all over the world depend on Checker for the newest quilting and sewing supplies to stock their shop. Today I'll be sharing beautiful samples from the Cloth Parcel, Studio Cat Designs, Jaybird Quilts, Atkinson Designs, and so much more. So you're going to want to stay tuned so you don't miss anything. Checker really does have customers all around the world, and we always enjoy seeing where you are watching from. So make sure you leave a comment with your shop name and location. At the end, we always save a little bit of time for Q&A, or a lot of times we'll stop during the live to answer questions if it's right around or about the item that we were just currently showing. And we can always go back and take a second look at something, so always feel free to drop a comment. And if you need to step away and tend to your store, there are no worries because this video does stay on Facebook, so you can watch at any convenient time for you, or you can come back and watch us again. We also have a special giveaway and special live feature for you today. If you saw our emails, you might have noticed that we will have a special live guest. We'll have Crimson from Art Deco to give you a live tutorial today on their new water marbling or fabric marbling notions that we just picked up from them. And they will also be able to answer any of the questions that you have live. And they have a giveaway specifically for you guys as well. So you're not going to want to miss anything. Let's see who's watching today. Hello, the Quilt Kitchen from Ontario, Canada. Hello, Julie of Jaybird Quilts. We have her samples here today, so you want to make sure you stay tuned for that. And hello to Sew Tech in Evansville, Indiana. We're going to jump in with a new book from Quiltmania. This is called Welcome to the House of Quilts. So this is the perfect alliance between folk art style applique patterns and simple piecing, created from lovely spring fabric kind of palette. There are 16 original projects of varying sizes and levels of expertise. And as you can see, there are beautiful detailed photos and step-by-step instructions in your templates. Everything you can need in the Welcome to the House of Quilts book. Next up, we have Sue and Billy's Hometown. So this is from the recognized Japanese designer Riko Kato. We're going to have a ton of small kind of sunbonnet characters. You have your patterns in your front and then in your back. So there is no printing involved. Everything is right here ready for you. So, and as you know, with the Quiltmania books, a lot of times they are in French as well as English, which is super fun little fact about them. Sue and Billy's Hometown. Next up is another trip around the wool. This book is a catalog of works and extracts of poetry, actually. It's the continuation of two other books that have already been published. Another Trip Around the Wool. It's kind of a catchy name. Next from Fig Tree is the Fruit Salad book. So you have apples and pears, cherries, blueberries, oranges, all the fruit you can think of for this beautiful summertime quilt. There are 5 patterns, and they have been designed to be interchangeable so that you can mix and match your fruit into different type of fruit salad quilts. You could always do one of just all the cherries, or you can mix all the fruit together. You know we love having multiple possibilities. And then my last book for today is from It's So Emma. It's called Summer Memories. You can reminisce over memories, and it includes 16 traditional projects. Everything from family reunions to your childhood, all the projects reflect the favorite part of your summers. You're fishing, you're swimming, and then It's So Emma just always has gorgeous, beautiful pictures and your step-by-step color instructions. Summer Memories by Susan Ake. Again, this year, C&T Publishing is hosting an event exclusively for our Checker customers. You might have seen our email. We've sent you a couple to remind you. It actually takes place, this virtual retreat takes place tomorrow, April 20th at 10 a.m. to 11:30 Pacific time. So it's a 90-minute live interactive showcase of their 2023 and some of their 2022 titles with live demonstrations, class plans, and all of that great stuff. Make sure you check your email. There's a link to sign up, and it'll have all the information for you there. But because of that, we actually have 2 items from C&T to give away. These items are included in that virtual retreat. These are items that will be talked about. So we have the Quilt As You Go Scrap Lovers book, and then your 3-in-1 Simple Square instructions. Now, if you remember, we actually showed this on our last live. So these are 2 of the items that will be shown tomorrow, and you have a chance to win them. Next, let's talk about the beautiful quilt behind me. This is called Rockstar, and this is from the Cloth Parcel. You can create your own constellation with 5 prints and a coordinating background. And the stars really shine. This is an intermediate level, traditionally pieced modern quilt pattern. So very simple. You got your half square triangles, or no, those are flying geese there. Maria would correct me. So nice and easy.
It could be either one, Justin.
Well, this looks like you got a quarter in there. Those are all very, very common blocks, so nice and easy. And then, as you can see, it's great for your bigger prints. And sometimes we never know what pattern to use our bigger prints in, since they don't cut down too well. You kind of lose the idea of the print. So this one would be great with your center blocks for your big feature fabrics. Next up is Retro Rainbow. This is from Megan Collins.
Ooh,
It's got Minky on the back, yeah. So this is a modern rainbow quilt pattern. You got your large blocks, and they're illustrated step by step in the instructions, so you can make this curved 4-arc rainbow. It is considered a baby size. It is a 42 by 52 inch quilt. And she was kind enough to send some step outs that I can show you here on the table, just to show you how really simple this pattern actually is. It might look, because you got those arcs, like it's a little bit more difficult, but it's not, because here you have your background, your first arc, your next arc, one more, and then your background piece. So as you can see, it's actually quite simple. You've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pieces of fabric. Got 5 different colors because your backgrounds are the same. And then you just sew your first arc, and you got your next arc, then you sew those together, and then you sew your second in your background. And there you go. Very quick, very easy. It would make a great baby gift. And real quick, I'll just show you kind of her modern style here. That's the one we were just talking about. Your retro sky, rainbow sky, love and stitches, flight. You can just see very fun, modern. And here you can make that rainbow into an actual quilt. Again, that was all Megan Collins. There are 10 patterns and they are all available on our website. Good point to mention then that the link in our description of this video will take you to all the items being showcased today. So if you missed something, you want to add it to your cart, or you want to read a little bit more in the description about the product, that is super duper easy to do. Next up is from Jaybird Quilts. This is a new pattern called Telescope. Beautiful, nice, bright, colorful fabrics. So you can do this one in two different sizes. You have your lap, and then you also have your queen. You can kind of see your blocks. And the templates are included in the pattern, but you also have the option to use her Sidekick ruler, which is on our website. We do carry that.
Beautiful.
It is very beautiful. And then we have a couple more from Jaybird. So released a little while ago was her Fussy Cut Shapes. So let's talk about Gazebo. So this one is made from 2.5-inch strips, nice table topper. And then another table topper, Rock Candy. So this one you got no Y seams, which I know everybody loves to hear that.
You can do some more ooh, ah.
Ooh. And then lastly is the candy dish pillows. So these are made simply just from a charm pack and 5/8 yard of additional fabric. This one also uses the Hex and More ruler. And all of these items and then some, because we showed you some maybe the one before that, she has a whole trunk show of items put together. And if you're interested in getting her trunk show, you can reach out to us and we will put you in contact with Julie. So that's a great way to showcase all of her rulers, is with her trunk show. Thank you. Do that too, so stay together. Let's see, what are we going to talk about next? You might see them up here. We have the soak items. They're in a variety of colors. There's 7 of them. This would be the perfect gift set to, you could even give it to yourself. It's super cute. Sure, you're going to get one size or one set. You're getting the travel bottle of soak, and it's color coordinated with the Eco Wash bag. So this bag is a 16-inch circle format bag, and it's made from 100% post-consumer recycled plastic bottles, which is just super awesome. And soak has actually been bottled in 100% post-consumer bottles since 2012, which is amazing. This one specifically is the Celebration Smell. And it's just super cute because they all match. Be great for stocking stuffers come the Christmas season. And then, of course, we have the soap available on our website in larger sizes as well that you can stock back up on if you already got your mesh bags. Super cute. They'll sit nice on your shelves in your store. So then next, from Summit Street Boxes, we have shown these before. These are just the new sizes, or the new designs actually. So you kind of have your daisy there and your sunflower here. So these hold 6.5-inch quilt squares perfectly. And it's also great for storing your little notions, your sewing and scrapbooking supplies. And they're just cute, so when they sit on your shelf, yeah, they're clear, translucent, so you can see what's in it. But if you turn it that way, you just see a pretty quilt block. All right. So for my cat lover friends like myself, we have the Cat Scratch quilt pattern from Art East Quilting. I was super excited when I found out we were getting this model because crazy cat lady. Even if nobody else in this room is besides Sasha.
I used to have a cat.
But are you crazy cat lady?
I might be crazy. That was cute.
This, if you hold it up a little bit higher, you can see the actual cat scratch part.
There's one up in the other corner too.
So you can make this in 2 different sizes. You could do the 55.5 by 62 or the 40 by 40 inch square. And these blocks, the individual cat blocks, are made in a way that you can make your own layouts if you want, which is super fun. So you can kind of deviate from what the pattern cover looks like and what this looks like and just lay it out differently. The cats finish in 2 different sizes, so you just mix and match. You can make them in your cat's colors.
Very cute.
It's from Art East Quilting Company. And next, whether you're going to Seattle, New York, Tokyo, or Mumbai, you can avoid all the red lights, the traffic jams, and intersections by using the monorail, which is what this table runner is designed in honor of. This is from Atkinson Designs, and it includes instructions for a table runner and 4 quilt sizes. So you can make a matching set for your coffee table and then the quilts on your couch so everything's cohesive. Monorail from Atkinson's Designs. I'm going to need you right back. Okay. So next, I lied, we did have another book, but I have samples from the book. So these are perfectly pieced quilt backs from Landauer. It's an ultimate guide for you. It has 30 piece quilt backing designs, 15 which use varying sizes, and 15 various scrap sizes, and 15 that use your stash and yardage. Now, an exciting thing is that this also gives you 18 bonus quilt patterns that you can download. So first, we're going to start with the backing on this one, which this one is called the Double Bar Quilt Back. It's kind of fun that your back of your quilt also has a design. It's not just one solid piece of fabric. And if you're interested, the front of this quilt is called Wobbles. Very neat.
Very cool.
They sent us some extra fabric.
That happens in sewing rooms.
It does. Usually you're carrying it on you though. We're not done just yet. We have another one.
Back first.
So here we have the back. This is called the Great Big Granny Quilt Back. This is a great way to use up your scraps. It looks like that's about perfect size for your scrap tape from Gypsy Quilter if you needed some.
Sure. This one.
Yeah, the 13-inch. And the front of
Swap.
this one is called Tinkering. This one is also a bonus pattern that is included for download.
That is adorable.
So there's lots of great information and patterns and designs packed into this book from Landauer. So you're definitely going to want to take a look at that one. There's more info on our website as well. She's
You're
trying
not
to
gonna
clean
take
up,
this
but it's
over.
the one that I needed.
No, I knocked it over. Stand up.
So next up is Pucker Up from Badobo Bags. And you have two size options here. And as you can see, when you pick it up, it kind of comes together, making it secure. And you got your nice base, so it's gonna sit nice and flat. And the inside is full of pockets. And you actually can customize your pockets to be the size you want, for as many pockets as you want. It goes all the way around. And then there's actually a zipper pocket as well. Really, I'm more likely to put like my cash and my stuff in the zipper pocket. It's a little harder to get to. So Pucker Up Project Tote. And they nestle nicely inside of each other for storage. And we got another bag here. This is the double take bag pattern. This is from Studio Cat Designs. So you can see you got your two zippered pockets here. And then you have a magnetic pouch as well with magnetic closure. You have your nice strap. And then you open it up, you even have some credit card slots in this one. And then this one's just a nice open pocket. So this bag packs a lot, has a lot of storage opportunities, and it is only 5 inches by 8.5 inches. You can fit a lot of good stuff in here. It's always nice that magnetic, have your phone at easy access. So a double take bag from Studio Cat Designs. Next up, I have some Happy Sun placemats from Susie Seashore. You got your pot holders and your trivets placemats. Just look it up. I just want to leave those on the screen. Just big smiles at everybody. Super cute, summery. Coordinating. My mom loves when things coordinate. And then we have 3 new patterns from Quilting Renditions. And Sasha's going to have to help me pronounce the last one because I always say it wrong. But first up, we have Square Dancer. The nice thing about Square Dancer is you have 4 different piece border options, so you can choose what works best. And then you also have 3 different panel size options. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this single pattern itself. And then you have crystals. This is great for showing off, again, your big print design fabrics. And then ingots. All right. This one is also great for your big prints. You can cut up your panels and you get to choose. You can do 1, 2, or even 4 fabrics for the main sections. Lots and lots of options. Next up, I have a trio of spring pillows. You have your Easter bunny in a basket. You have your Easter eggs in a basket. And then you have your beautiful tulips in a basket. Are we seeing a theme here, baskets? These are from Bits and Pieces, which is by Joan. They're 6.5 inch squares. Next up, I'm going to show you some patterns from Southern Charm Quilts, which is Melanie Traylor. And she is a quilt maker as well as a pattern and fabric designer. She is a new vendor for us, and we just wanted to kind of give you an idea of her patterns. Soulshine. And actually, on our last live, I showed you her book and one of the quilts from in that book. So these are all available on our website. You can just look up Southern Charm Quilts, and you will get all of her patterns. Next up is this cute little guy from Thread Cutters. So this is a dual hybrid micro scissor. You have a steel belt clip for on-the-go convenience. Oops, back there. And you just squeeze in your little side, so you always have your clippers on the go with you. And they're nice and small tips so they can get into those little itty bitty places that are hard to get to. It's a double-sided ceramic fixed blade for a super sharp cut. They can be your secret weapon. Next, I have to get my So Slick spray back from Maria. She's cleaning up too much and took it. Is that bottle? Thank you.
Well, it was on the edge.
You're just
That's
working
my
ahead
secret.
there. So this is the So Slick spray. This is from So Perfect Products. We do have a great video for this on our website. So this product reduces fabric drag and creates a super slick surface on any plastic, paint, laminated, or metal surfaces. It also polishes, cleans, and protects your sewing tools from dust and dirt. And it comes in this great little 4-ounce bottle with a fine mist nozzle, so you have that easy application. Now, Maria can have that back. So I just have a handful more items to show you today before we bring on our special guest, but I want to take a moment and see who else is watching today. Hello to Cindy Kish. Thanks for tuning in today. Hello to Chris O'Connor. Hello, Julie Herman. That's Jaybird Quilts. And Elva just loves the Jaybird Quilts. And hello to Pat on the back from Arizona. So next up are these items from Tony Whitney Designs. There is another cat pattern. Oh. Kitten Caboodle. And then Chrissy's gonna want this one. Live, Love, Llama. So these are fusible applique wall hangings, and they're perfect for the confident beginner. And as you can see, there is, or you might not be able to, you even have some 3D kind of designs on here. You have the cute little bow, flower bow, and same thing with the butterflies with the kittens. These are just 2 in her line of fusible applique wall hangings. She has a ton. Next up is from Kitchen Table Quilting. You might have seen this in our event picture. I was wrapped up in it to keep myself cozy. This one is called Orla, which kind of, Orla.
Got it.
See what you did there?
Got it.
So this one is a simple and quick way to turn a jelly roll or even a fat eighth into a striking quilt. You have lots of different motions going on here. You also get a lot of negative space you could do fun quilting with. Maybe I should have done this one with my jelly roll. I have so many jelly roll projects started. They're just so fun.
You have time.
Do I? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I don't have enough time. So this is actually easier to make than it looks. And it does include instructions for 5 different sizes, which you all know I just enjoy options. Kitchen Table Quilting. Thank you. And lastly, before we bring on our special guest, is a great pattern for your fat quarters. This is called Borders and Frames. This is from Poorhouse Quilt Designs. So this one would be super easy to kit. It's very beginner friendly. And you can see the big floral border kind of carries it through and actually matches some of these. I'm actually holding it the wrong way.
Well, we wanted you to see the whole quilt.
Very good. Yeah, we did this on purpose. So, but it doesn't have to be coordinating fabrics, but this is a great way to show off that border fabric. And again, this episode is kind of themed, it seems like, around great quilt options for your bigger fabric prints that you don't want to cut up. So from A Poorhouse Quilt Designs. So now we're going to switch over and bring in Crimson from Art Deco. She is in their studio and she's ready to give you guys all a great demo with lots of information on their water marbling products that are now available at Checker. And I believe they are doing a giveaway during the live as well. So stay tuned because you don't want to miss it. So take it away, Crimson. It looks like you guys might be muted. Can you unmute yourselves?
Oh, there we go. Okay. Thank you, Chessa from Checkers. So I'm Crimson with Deco Art, and I want to thank Checkers for having us today. And we're going to be talking about water marbling. And I'm so excited to show you this product because you're really going to love it, I think. So first, I'm just going to start off by showing you some of the cool projects that people have made, like some small little quilts here we've had done with water marbled fabric. And then we have, you know, some other projects laying around that you'll be able to see, like silks and some other quilts. But basically, guys, all you need is 5 basic things. You're going to need your water marbling paints. You're going to need something to marble in, like a tray, some specialty prep, and then obviously something to marble, whether it be paper or fabric or an object. And then tools. And then we also have those. And I'm going to go through all of these things for you and just show you what they do. So I'm just going to really dive into it today and just give you a feel and how fun it is to really try it out. So the first thing I'm going to do is walk you through like this setup of like your space that you would water marble. And then I would go through like how you prep everything. So I'm just going to do it in steps and show you how that goes. So if you come over here, Abby's doing a great job filming me. So here's our basic setup. And this is the most efficient way. And I think you want to have everything very accessible when you're water marbling. So you're going to have your tray for your size and your tray for rinsing. So that's just clean water that you're going to put the things that you pull out of the water marbling. And then I have my tools on the left side along with all the paints and, you know, the papers. And if you're going to do fabric, I'll show you that to have that accessible as well. And you're going to need like paper towels and a trash can, basically. So I want to talk about these. Can you come back over here, Abby?
Yes.
Thanks. So that's the basic setup. But like I want to talk about our paints a little bit. There's 14 colors. And they're very vibrant and beautiful. And I'll show you when I start pouring those out, you're really going to get a feel for those. But they're also mixable, so you can make custom colors, which is how this quilt over here was done. And I think that's just beautiful. And I'll show you a bottle of the paints that I do actually. So when you're custom color, just a tip, like when you're mixing colors, like you could have an empty bottle and you just label what you put in there. And I like to have like a guide if I've mixed colors, if I'm doing a certain projects. I think this would be really handy if you're doing like a quilt or something like that with custom colors. You want to have a reference chart to go to when you're making those patterns. So, and then next, the prep, we have the surface prep, which you will definitely need for fabrics because that helps it be permanent and you're able to wash it. So that would be great for like if you're going to do tennis shoes or quilts or other wearables like scarves. You want to go ahead and use that surface prep so you can wash those things. The magic medium you're going to need because that is what thickens the water and which allows our water marbling paints to float on top. So you have to have that for your basic prep. Now, as far as your tray goes, this is our tray that we have. It's a great size for the papers and for your basic fabric squares or small scarves. Excuse me. So if you wanted to do something larger, like a larger piece of fabric or piece of clothing, you could use a larger tray. You just fit your tray to whatever you need it to be. And then our tools, we have sumi brushes, which are really great for doing like techniques like sumonagashi, and you're able to apply the paint, and I'll show you those, as well as the marbling sticks. And then we have our rake, and we have our comb tools, and those are like the more traditional tools that you might see people using for marbled silks. Sorry. So yeah, and then this is our retail kit, and this is what we're going to be giving away today. So if you want to drop a comment, saying what you would like to marble, basically, and we're just going to pick a random winner, and we're going to send that out to you. As long as you're in the United States, that's the only stipulation. And just tell us what you'd like to marble.
Yep.
So let's get to it. This is the fun part. So I'm going to I usually don't show this part because, it's just like the prep work, but I just thought I would let you see how easy it is to mix up the surface prep as well as the magic medium. So basic tools for that, I like to mix it in a separate container with a lid usually. That way, if you need to, that's for the surface prep. I like to mix that in a separate container with a lid because if you don't use it all in the same setting that you're doing, it'll last up to 5 days, maybe longer. So you want to have that lid just to keep it clean, so you're able to work from that clean size and dump it into your tray. You get a sip of water real quick. Okay. So our instructions are on the bottle, or the jars, I mean. And it's basically for fabric, I think it's 1.5 teaspoons to 4 cups of water. And when I'm mixing and doing a bunch of prep for fabric, you want to have a container where it can float freely. So if you're going to be mixing a bunch in a big container for the surface prep, I just like to mark a gallon jar or jug of water and then dump that in. So the surface prep, I'll show you the consistency. It's kind of like a sugar consistency. You just, and I just scrape it off with one of my marbling sticks, and that dissolves. I use hot water so it dissolves faster. So for a gallon, it's like 6 teaspoons. I haven't been counting. I think this is 6. We'll have to watch that back. I won't use this batch. It's basically you have a whisk, and this dissolves really fast. So you can see that. Just whisk it around. And then with a piece of fabric. Now, when you have your fabric and you're getting ready to, you want to wash any fabric that you're going to water marble. You want to wash it with no fabric softener and dry it. And then if it needs to be ironed, do that before you do your surface prep. And so then you're just going to put it in the surface prep. And like I said, you want it to be able to float freely. So you don't want to like shove a bunch of fabric in a small amount of water. You want to have it to be able to have
room,
space to move around. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I think we're jumping it. So this is only if you're doing fabric, you need to do this to prepare the fabric.
Yes, any
marble.
fabrics.
Okay.
And I thought that was very important to show, especially if
Yeah.
you're going to be using it for quilts or wearables or
Like
something
many
like
of
that.
the folks on here, they're commenting. We've gotten some great comments on what people want to marble. A lot of them are fabric.
Oh,
quilts
yes.
and,
Awesome.
Scarves. So if you're going to do that, you need to
You
have
can
this
see how that's
item.
floating around. So you want it to be freely and covered, and then that just stays in there 20 minutes, and then you're able to pull it out, and you can see I have a little drying rack over here, and I have it just hung up as straight as possible because you don't want to iron it or anything after you work up the surface prep on there. So these are ready to marble, so I'm going to show you those.
Do you let them dry completely?
Yeah, you let them dry completely,
So
and
like
it,
24 hours.
I usually do it in days. Like I'll surface prep the day before I'm gonna marble everything. And I usually, as I'm gonna show you now, the magic medium, I'll do that the day before too, because like I said, I do it in a separate container. So it's just able to, I don't have to worry about mixing it. Now you can mix it right before and it just takes like an hour to dissolve as long as it's room temperature. But like I said, I like to do it the day before. So this is, again, a gallon of hot water just from the sink. You can use distilled water, which would probably make your size last even longer if you were going to save it with a lid.
How long can you save the size?
Well, if it's in a container with a lid, it lasts for about a week. Yeah, 5 to 7 days. But if it's with distilled water, it could last longer. And so the consistency of our magic medium, and this is what thickens the water. So you had to have this to help those paints float on top. So it's more of like a flour consistency. And you can see, I do the same way. It is 8 teaspoons to a gallon of water, or 1 to 2 is the ratio. So can you see in there? So it usually more likely floats on top, and it will be clumpy until it completely dissolves, and that's why it's good to use that hot water. It just helps it dissolve faster. I don't know, 5. Abby's counting for me. 6.
No, that was 5.
This is 6?
I think so.
I will use this, so I'm gonna.
So what are you
7.
making here again?
This is the size, which is the
Size.
magic medium plus water. Yes. this-
S-I-Z.
And the size is what you put in your
This is
tray.
what you need to help those paints float on top. So it thickens the water. So that's your prep, that's your base. And so you can see how it's floating on the water. And I like to do it in a bigger container because I get kind of rowdy with the mixing. Oh, see, I just broke mine.
What happened if you just ate on water?
It'll sink. If
It'll
it's just
sink.
water, it's just
This
gonna
is
sink.
This is a big part of it that lets you do it.
Yeah, so we really, worked hard on the formulation, and you take out the guesswork. You don't have to, figure out the ratios and all that. You just mix this in with the water, let it dissolve, and you're ready to go. So I usually give it a really vigorous whisk, and then I'll put the lid on, and then the next day I'll just come in and give it another whisk, and it's ready to go. Now, if I wanted to use it like in an hour, I would just kind of keep mixing it until it's room temperature, until that's all dissolved, and then you can just go ahead and use it. So you can see how it's just slowly dissolving, and it kind of feels a little slimy. I don't know. It's just the way it feels. It's that thickened food base additive. So the main tools you'd want are a container, a whisk, measuring spoon, a cup or a gallon, and then obviously your preps. If you want to do fabric, your surface prep, and then you definitely need your magic medium to make your size. Before I jump into doing the marbled pieces, I want to show you what's in the retail kit, which we are giving away. Again, if you are just joining us, you want to make sure you comment what you want to marble. And if you're in the United States, we will pick a random winner and we're going to send this out to you. So it comes with our retail tray, which is a little smaller than the white tray, but it fits our paper perfectly. And if you were doing smaller fabric pieces, it works great. Like if you're going to cut little like 4x4 squares or something. I think this is like 10 by 12. So, you still have a lot of room to work with. So you have a white, a red, a yellow, aquamarine, let's see, tropical blue. And then you get a smaller container of the magic medium, which you need to mix to be able to float those paints. And you also get some water marbling sticks for tools. And then our water marbling paper, which is specially formulated to really grasp that pigment, and it's really vibrant and it's great. This is great paper. You can see on the wall I have a bunch of different prints that I have done, water marble, just experimenting. So it's really fun to do, and this is a great way to practice your patterns before you do fabrics, so you're not like wasting fabric. So that's how I like to plan out different patterns and colorways to have those things going. So again, comment below on what you want to marble, and we'll get a winner picked and send that out to you. That is going to be fun. Put this away and I'll get started. The fun part. Okay. So this is my size. I've just scooped it out of my other container into the tray. And like I said, this is regular water. That's just what, if I'm doing papers, I will take the print and then I'll rinse it. Or if I'm doing fabric, I could stick it straight into the water and rinse it. Because you have that surface prep on it, it's not going to rinse out. So you're just rinsing out that extra size. And then this is our cleaning papers. You want to clean in between your patterns, and that just gives you a clean print for the next time. Okay. So if you've had your size sitting out for a while, or even if you just scoop it in, I always like to take a piece of cleaning paper just to skim the top to get off any dirt, not dirt, but like dust or hair, cat hair, probably. From, it travels with you. Okay, so let's just start. I'm so excited because this is really fun. So I'm just going to show you all the colors. So we have our red. And what I like to do first is to put down a base of colors. So you can see that color starting to spread out. You might get some bubbles. You can just pop those with your finger or marbling stick. So that's going to spread to the edges. Just a side note, you don't want to wash your trays out. Any trays you use, you want to make sure they're really clean. You don't want to have any soap residue in there because it will act as a resist, and it won't spread out, and your paints won't like it. It'll just be a hard time for you. So there's different techniques and ways you can put in the paint. This is a long tradition of historical art form from Japan and Turkey. So there's many different inspirations that you can look to for patterns and colorways even. Mm-hmm. I'm just pouring these paints on. That was our orange and our yellow, and this is the yellow green.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Okay, so here's a little tip because this one's called. I always have like a little handy. This is a very special tool. Just a paper clip or a pen, because like if you have your paints and you leave off the lids, then the paint might dry on the tip. So it just helps you get that unclogged. And this is our green. And this is the aquamarine.
Now some of the paint that does maybe drip to the bottom, is that going to affect
Okay, no.
prints?
So you will, especially when I found that when I first started, you might be a little heavy-handed, or if you do have a clogged tip and then it squirts out really fast, it might seep to the bottom like you can see here. That's not going to affect anything that you do on the surface, and that's all you need is the surface. So this is the tropical blue. This is light blue. And then I think there's also packs, different color packs that have been picked up as well. That if you didn't want to even think about the colorways, you can use that color pack and it can really get you really nice results. Or if you already had a plan for like a quilt, say, or something, you could tell them that they could really. That was our lavender, violet, and then pink.
And if you put more paint, is it going to get more vibrant, or is it?
So like the paint, like if I wanted it to be less vibrant, more pastel. And this is the same goes if you had a bigger tray that you were trying to do. You were going to need more paint, obviously, to make it as vibrant as you want. So like I did one way, and it looks, you can see the vibrancy already on there, but you'll see after I pull a print that it might not look like there's a lot of paint on there, but you get a lot of use out of these bottles. Because it really doesn't take a lot of paint to create that vibrant look. So I'm just going to show you our rake tool. Just pull it through those lines to make a pattern. You can adjust and go that. Like you're getting a Gelget pattern. I try to be good and clean the tools off in between. So that I could take the print now if I wanted to. If I want to go back in with the water marbling stick and manipulate even more, you can do that. If I wanted to add some paint, you can also use the tools to apply the paints in a more precise way. So you can build up little circles, sort of like the Suminagashi technique, where you're dipping into each consecutive stone, which are those circles that you're putting onto the surface, as well as the Sumi brushes. I'm going to show you that. It's the same concept. You just get a little bit more paint loaded in that brush, and you're able to touch that surface. The longer you touch it, the bigger the paint that is released onto the surface like that. So the longer you take building up your pattern, you're going to start to get some of the paint drying on the surface. You could do that on purpose if you like that, the way that it looks like the paint will start to stretch and dry. I'm going to go ahead and show you print with the paper. So like I said, this is our water marbling paper, and you're just going to let that center touch down first to try to not get any trapped air bubbles in there on the print. And if you have any bubbles on the surface, that will show up on your print as an empty spot. See how vibrant and beautiful those colors are? And like I said, if you wanted to create custom colors, like a more, like neutral palette or something, all those 14 colors are mixable. And you just do that beforehand, because the way these are formulated, they don't mix on the surface. So that keeps your print really vibrant and crisp. So like I said, this is just a water bath. You're rinsing off the extra size. It just helps the, like the paper dry flatter and faster. And, the paper can only hold so much pigment. So when you get it real built up on the surface, you might see some runoff, but it's not going to mess up your print. Isn't that beautiful?
I get lots of comments.
And it works beautifully on wood, on natural surfaces like cork, terracotta. Our papers obviously are the best. You can use other papers, but you might have to use the surface prep on the papers because they might not be specifically formulated to catch that pigment. So you just have to do a little test to see.
We did have a question in the beginning. I think this is a good one. Just
Okay.
in general, what surfaces cannot be marbled?
I've tried. Plastics are a little finicky
Plastic.
because, a lot of plastics are made for things to not stick to them. So that's a little trickier. Some non-porous surfaces like metals and glass, I have seen those done. You have to use the surface prep for sure. But the way you apply the surface prep is in like a fine mister, and you allow each coat to dry, and then you would put that in. And then if you're going to do a 3D object, or like say tennis shoes or something, you want a deeper back to be able to dip those in and submerge them completely so the paint can fold over the entire 3D surface. So those are really fun to do too. Oh, and it works beautifully on wood. Did I say that? I did my earrings.
Wood.
Wood
So
for.
wood, fabric,
for
paper,
Yes.
or
Uh,
terracotta. Is that?
This
Yes.
is bisque. It works great on bisque.
Oh yeah.
Because that's, you know, as you know, it's really porous, so it really grabs those pigments. What else? Yeah, the papers.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of papers.
So
Okay,
things
so-
that are smooth like plastics and glass. Plastics are problematic, so avoid that.
Yeah, I mean, you would definitely have to do a test to see if it would even work. But yeah, it would probably want to flake off because you know how painting plastics in general are just are tricky. So you can see there's still a lot of paint left, and I always take multiple prints from just one colorway, and I think it's a great way. Like if you're doing collages, they work great to have just a stack of different colors and patterns. I'll show you the second print. These are always fun because they're always different than what you plan to do. This is like your gift. Ooh. Every time I'm just like, oh, wow. And now I'm going to show you some fabrics because it sounds like y'all are excited about that, and which is really fun actually. Look how vibrant! I just love it. Okay, so I could, like I said, I could keep taking prints and pulling paint. It does some cool things. You can see how the paint is sort of like cracking and drying and stretching. So that's a really fun way to get some, I guess I'll say, happy accidents. And even if you do use the same color or technique each time, you might get it's always going to be different. So that's what's beautiful about it, I think. And like I said, I'm just cleaning off the surface to get that surface clean for the next colorway. So the cleaning paper just picks up the extra paint you don't want. So you can see now that that extra paint that's dropped to the bottom, which we won't worry about because it's not going to bother us. We won't bother it. Okay. And I just do it a couple of times until the paper's clean. Okay. So I'm just going to start, like I said, with the base color. You can see I didn't get all that red out, but it's fine. You can also do this little trick. So pull that extra paint that you don't want out. Like that. So you can put the paint on randomly. These are just called throwing stones. That's what's great about the writer tips is because you can do those drops, but it's in a more controlled way. So you can build patterns just using the bottles, which is great. And then the tools, like I said, help you get that even more precise pattern or paint application. Let us know if you have any questions at all that we can answer specifically. We have Jennifer's over there answering. And you can just, like I said, you can pop those bubbles to make sure that we don't show up on your print. Let's see, I'm gonna add some more paint with our sumi brushes just to show you again. So you you can just be a little bit more precise. Now the thicker you have the paint on the surface, the less movement you're going to get. So if you did want to do like a pattern, a specific pattern, or try to do like fun things like I did for Halloween, I did pumpkins, and those are really cute to do on the surface. So you just want to build your paint up first, get that on there. So this is a piece of it's a piece of cotton, 10 by 10 piece of cotton. And like I said, you want to prep that first with fabrics or wearables. You want to use our surface prep. And, you wash those first without fabric softener and dry them and then iron them. So that gets it ready for the surface prep. And the surface prep is just mixed with water, and you let that sit in there for 20 minutes, and then you let that dry, and then it's ready to marble. So I did all that beforehand, which was yesterday. So have you all ready to go? So obviously if you're doing a bigger piece of fabric and, in a bigger tray, you might want to have another set of hands to help you because you really want it to be an even, when you're laying it in there, you want it to be the center first, and you don't want to have a lot of bubbles or anything. So you just make sure it's all touching.
Wow.
Every time I'm like, and then you just rinse that extra size off, and it's not going to mess that up because we've already surface prepped it. You could have like a big bucket of clean water if you were doing a bigger, bunch of fabric. I'm saying I wouldn't have to just keep doing that. I could just throw them in the rinse water and then rinse them all at once, just to be more efficient. But it's good to have that drying rack. When you're doing fabric, you can just put that back up there. And then I did a bunch of these swatches that for retailers, your sales rep will have those books, and that where you can touch them and really feel them and see what it feels like. And there's a bunch of different colorways too, so you'll be able to look at those and get some more ideas and able to touch it. So we have that.
So do they need to do anything in particular while drying the fabrics, or just?
No, like I said, you just want to after it is marbled, you can just hang it to dry, and then you would do whatever you want. Like if you wanted to wash it, get all that, make sure all the sizes out of it, you can. It's ready to go after you rinse it, especially for quilting.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Can you marble over something that's already printed or that has been marbled already?
Oh yeah. So like double prints. Now I haven't ever tried that with fabric because you would probably have to resize it. I mean, resurface prep it if you were doing a double print. But with the papers, I think I have one. I can try that. Let's see. Where are you? Let's see. It might not show up as well because this one's kind of I try to get a lighter one, but I'll show you right here. See what happens.
So this is a paper that you've printed once on.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it again. So yeah. And obviously it works really well. I've done it with color and black and white. So if you layer like a colorway pattern with black and white, that's really vibrant. So if like you wanted a more, subtle look, you could layer colors like that. And then you just rinse it again. Same way you did the first time. But yeah.
Thank you.
But like I said, if you wanted to do that with the fabric, I would say you would have to use the surface prep again on that marbled fabric to be able to re-marble it. I've never specifically tested that, so you might want to test it just to make sure. But yeah, so I'm going to show you a piece of little silk here. It's the same concept as the cotton. Again, I'm just going to clean off the surface. before we head out today, we'll go back over and look at those beautiful quilts that were done if you're joining us late, so you can see the projects that we had done with the water marbled fabric. Just cleaning off that surface to get it ready for the next one. I'm going to show you some black and white. I haven't yet showed you the comb yet. That's really cool. I'll do that first. So you can add it like this, some stripes. Or you can throw the stones randomly. Or you can put the stones more precise in an area if you wanted to build up a pattern. Like say these over here. Just place them more specifically. I love the black and white. I mean, I could just see this on any kind of fabric.
And what is
Art
this
piece.
technique called again?
This technique is throwing stones, where you're just throwing the paint in randomly. Those circles that land on the surface are called stones. So when you're doing that, let's add a color in here. Oh, and if you're just joining us, you can see my handy dandy tool, which is a paper clip that will unclog the dried paint on the top.
Someone said that was high tech.
It is high tech. It's top secret. So
Insider secret.
yeah, insiders and bow. You can see I'm placing those stones in more specific areas. If I wanted to go back into those and build up those areas.
How do you deal with air bubbles?
The air bubbles, just pop them with my
Did you
finger.
also use your high tech tool? That you
Yeah,
talked
my
about?
high-tech tool in my finger. So, and like I said, you just want to get rid of those so it doesn't show up on your print. And you can also just, keep a paper towel there and just dab it off before you drop it in as well. So like I said before, you can also use the water marbling sticks and the semi brushes to apply the paints in a more precise way. You just need it on the tip. And you're just going to touch that surface and alternate. This is, borrowed from Suminagashi technique. Just, it's kind of really mindful and relaxing when you're doing this. You're just touching the surface. So that's a great way to, tell people that it's good. It's good for you. It's a health benefit. I'm gonna put this over, and then you can use this to manipulate, to make patterns or flowers. I kind of like that. Let's do that. Hearts. So you can see how it's just really, you can make it your own. Like anything you could imagine, you could create. Make swirls. I'm going to show you one of the silks. And it's the same way with the silks as the cotton. You want to get those surface prepped. But before you surface prep them, you want to wash them and get rid of any existing size in the fabric out. And you don't want to use fabric softener. You want to get those dried and ironed, and then you put those in the surface prep and allow them to dry. in the drying rack, and then they're ready to go. And I'm allowing that center to touch down first. I love that part with silks. It's just like so beautiful. And again, with the, if I have too much pigment in there, it can only hold so much. So you might see that paint coming out, but it's just the extra that the fabric couldn't hold. See how beautiful that is? So then again, I would just lay that over here to dry. And I will flame it. Huh? Oh, it feel. Oh, and like I said, those books, like if you do get to check those books out, the retailers, the dry. Oh, let me show you. Obviously, it would be better on a dry piece. Show you. You can see this is silk, it's soft, not stiff. This is one that's already dry. This one. The larger one. So you see it doesn't take away the flowiness or the qualities of the silk, so it's very nice for a wearable because, you know, it's silk. Then, you know, like I said, if you don't want to waste the paint, you can always use a piece of the water marbling paper to have those other pools for other projects like collaging or making origami ornaments or flowers. So many different things. Any paper art that you can do, you can use your marble papers for that, so that's great. I'm going to clean that off, and then I'm going to show you the rake, or the comb. And then I think I've talked about everything. And then before we wrap up, we'll announce our winner of the retail kit. I appreciate you all commenting and letting us know what you want to marble. We'll get that retail set out to you, and you can start playing with it. It's so fun. Okay, so let's do one with purples. So I'm just throwing some color in here because I really want to show you that comb tool. Like I said, I don't know if you heard in the beginning, you can make custom colors. So if you have like a little empty jar that you can keep your proportions into your mix, like if you had a very specific thing you were wanting to mix up, I keep a chart, and that just helps me keep track of all my mixes. So when I'm creating a piece with custom colors, I can just look at the chart. So that might be a really great tool for, you know, the retailers to tell, you know, consumers to have or
I have
create.
a couple of questions for
Uh-huh.
you.
Yeah.
Let's see, what type of paper is used? Oh my gosh, this one over. What type of paper is used for the cleaning paper? How is that different?
It is not that, like, our water marbling paper is specifically designed to pick up that pigment and hold it in. This is a lighter weight paper. It's like a newsprint, yeah, and it's just cleaning off that surface. So the goal is it's not going to absorb your size, but it's going to pick up that paint.
And another woman asked, can you make cards?
Oh, yes. Like, I would do a test on the paper because you might, depending on what type of paper it is, if you're going to use a different one, you might want to use the surface prep first, just so it to grab that pigment. But, you know, you can make This works great for like decoupaging and cutouts like that. So you could actually do the water marbling paper onto a card as well. Works great for backgrounds and. Oh, I have another use for my top secret.
And when you let your papers dry, do you have to do anything after that to get them ready to
I didn't
use?
talk about that, did I? You mean after you take it out of the rinse bath? I usually just lay it on a paper towel to dry,
Mhm.
and then once it's dry, you can flip it over and iron the back, and it flattens it really nicely. I like to put like a piece of clean watercolor paper down, just to keep it clean. But yeah, it works beautifully when it's that way. All right, this is turning out to be a very spring color palette here. I'll do one more color and then we'll do our. Yeah, I'm ready now. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, but there's a hair right here. So when you get that, you just kind of pick it up. And then you pop your bubble. Your finger, the stick. So then our comb tool, the teeth are closer together. So it allows you to get a pattern that a lot of people are more familiar with far as marbling goes, because this is a pattern that is used like in the silk scarves, and so you could do it that way, and then you could do it the other way. So you can keep going as much as you want, and if you wanted to really get that pattern really small, more of like a background texture, you can just keep going with it. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So pretty. Like I said, you can just rinse off the extra sides. Like, and if you do, if you have a lot of paint on the surface, those darker colors might start to overlap on the lighter colors. And in that case, you just want to keep rinsing, because you really want to get that extra off, because it'll just muddy up your. Okay. So if I'm still seeing that, then I'll just flip it. Ooh, can I just flip your camera? You want to be able to have a tray that you're able to agitate that print in. And while it's wet, you don't want to like touch it or fold it over, because it will mess up your print. But once it's dry, it's on there. So you see how clean it is now? Just had to get all that extra off. All right. If anybody wants to, I don't know how we are on time, but if anybody had any last minute questions, and then I want to announce our winner of our water marbling kit. And if you were just joining us, I did say in the beginning, but it's our retail kit, and it comes with 5 colors and a magic medium, which you will need to make your size. And that's the thickened water to help that paint float on top. Then we have marbling sticks, a retail tray, and our specialty water marbling paper. So it gets you started, and you can have a lot of fun with it. So our winner is Chris O'Connor. And we'll get that mailed out to you. I guess we're going to need your information to get that sent out to you, right, Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it sounds like that Chris wants to make marble fabric to make a cool jacket. Oh, I can't wait to see the picture of that. So that'll be really cool. And then we'll just need your email address and your home address.
Mhm.
So then that's it.
Okay, don't sign out yet. I want to get that email
Don't
from
sign
her.
out yet. So if we have any last minute questions while she's getting that, shoot them. and I will answer anything I can, or if you have any questions for Chessa, you can get that to her. As this, like this? Okay, so the size, as you're using it, like I said, you can keep using it and using it until that's gone. So you can get a lot of prints and a lot of fabric printed up like that. And if I'm going to walk away from it, I'll just cover it. And, if even I want to come back to it the next day, I can do that. And like I said, when you have it mixed in a separate container, that stays clean and it doesn't get any paint in it, obviously. So you can just keep using that up to 5 days. So, all right. Well, I just want to say, let's do a walkthrough of these projects real quick before we leave. Just so they. So again, reiterating, you can make really cool things with fabric. You can mix your own colors. With our 14 colors, you can make custom colors. So there's some really cool quilts, and it works great on bisque, on wood, on our papers, silks, any natural fabric or natural. What am I trying to say?
Natural fibers?
Natural fibers.
Natural fabrics?
Like terracotta or cork is what I'm trying to say.
Coarse? Porous?
Yes, porous. It's been a long day, guys. But look at this beautiful quilt that one of our artists made. So I'm so excited to see what you all come up with if you get this product and you're able to play with it and if you're a retailer, get your consumers this product and have them just get excited about it. And I want to show you just a quick scan of the things you will need. Like I said before, you need 5 basic things. Your water marbling paints, something to marble, specialty prep, something to marble in, and your tools. And you'll be ready to go. So, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.
Well, thank you so much for your great tutorial. We have our audio. Here we go. I want to congratulate Chris O'Connor for winning the giveaway. Thank you, Crimson, again for doing such a wonderful tutorial. And if you can't get a hold of Chris, you can't get a hold of them to give them your address or anything, just get in touch with us and we will make sure that all gets worked out. So thank you. Real quick to wrap it up, we have our own separate giveaway we talked about a little bit earlier for a special Checker customer. We're giving away 2 of the items that are in the C&T exclusive Checker Spring Retreat. You have the Quilts As You Go book and your 3-in-1 simple square instructions. If you missed the info on this event, we have sent emails. Just make sure you check your email. It takes place tomorrow. To enter into this contest, you must be a Checker customer and a member of our Facebook private group. And you will have until this coming Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time to register to win. And then we will announce the winner the following Monday. And I think we answered all the questions along the way. So I want to again thank Art Deco for the great tutorial. And I will see you back here in a month. In May, I think we're falling on the 19th, Chrissy. Is it 19th? I think it's 17th. May 17th. So I will see you back here on Wednesday, May 17th. Thanks so much for watching and being a Checker customer.